Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Suleiman Rahim here, Mr. Covenant, breaker of 7 seals. Special presentation for you today, brothers and sisters. And if everything goes well, it'll be a while. Here, a little technical issue just now, but I think it's resolved. So we're going to talk about a few things. Right? One is this Amalek story. But first, those who consider all the book that Allah has revealed and take a small price, they had nothing but fire in their bellies. Allah will not speak to a day of resurrection and will purify them. There's a painful chastisement. See, if you're going to talk the scripture and not reveal the whole thing, they'll consider all the book. What book are you talking about? Are you talking about the Quran, the Bible? Because the Quran says you had to believe in both. So you had to believe what's revealed to you and what's before you. They tell you it's corrupt, but yes, they use it when they want to use it. Say, well, that's what they're talking about. Those that have erred for guidance and chastised for forgiveness. How bold that a challenge the fire? They think they can just say anything they want to say. And those people already with Farrakhan. They don't fear any consequence. They sure don't believe in Allah. That we can prove that. Okay? Every time they change, Allah changes every 5 minutes. First of all, is the originator, and it's Master Muhammad. Then Master Muhammad is making babies in everybody's womb. Oh, really? Master Muhammad does that? You know? And you can't worship him because he's flesh. And then he's the God. You got to pray to him. And it's, this called Allah reveal the book with truth. As sure as those disagree about the book go far in opposition. Allah is going to reveal the book, the Bible, and tell you must obey it. But it's corrupt. So how can you obey something that's corrupt, and then it's corrupt, then you obey it, and then you get chastised for, right, for your actions, but you just follow the book that, Allah can't protect this book. Come on, brothers and sisters. Actual facts. Amalek and the false vision decision. Talk about both of these. Right, before we get to our main topic. But Amalek, let's look at this Amalek. See, they keep talking about Amalek over there. That's what those false Jews over there talk about. It's Amalek. What they do is Amalek. They follow the Amalek prophecy. Are they? Okay. Amalek. Who's Amalek? What is Amalek all about? Have anybody take a chance? See, they say things. Do you go and look and find out what they're saying, what it means? What they're talking about? Let's look at Amalek. Now, I'm going to show you now. Well, let me go ahead and do it and then come back. Here's Amalek. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when you were come forth out of Egypt. Remember that? How you was coming out of Egypt. How he met thee by the way and smote the hinders most of thee. In other words, you know, those in the end, back, you know, he was kicking you in the butt. And you was fleeing the ones that's, you know, in the back, right? And even all those were feeble behind thee, so the weak, and the ones in the back, he was taking them out. Without this faint and weary, he feared not God. Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest from all thy enemies round about in the land which the Lord thy given thee for inheritance to possess it. Oh, who is talking about? This was mentioned covenant. Remember they going out? See? Rest from enemies around about in the land. See? Not this land. Right? Arabia, but it says, for inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remnants of Amalek and from under heaven, and thou shalt not forget it. That's in other words, remember, vengeance. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. So they're going to take vengeance on them. But when you do it, you don't do it while you're in the land. You do it after you get out of the land. See? It says, remember, after all these, you know, when you're home and everything else, then you wipe them out. Just wipe them out. Right? Now, what's that over there said? That means it's vengeance, something. Remember they did to you, you do it to them. But now they saying, see, that's like falsehood was a lie to begin with. But look at this lie. That couldn't apply to them. Because for them to apply to them, that means the Palestinians have done what they're doing to them, have done to them. That wasn't the case. They was living peacefully with them for 1,000 years or whatever. They didn't oppress them. They never kill their women and children and that stuff. Right? They said, well, see what they're doing, Hamas and all that kind of stuff, right? See? Right? But that's not what they saw about here. That's when he was leaving out of Egypt. And we know that doesn't apply to them because they said they was never in bondage. I'm saying it. See, the scripture's so clear. It says this be made so clear in the food and earth. Everything I'm telling you is clear. Easy research it. Easy. So if you misled and you deceived or you fall or you don't make it, that's so totally. You cannot blame anybody. Because everything I'm telling you is very simple. It's very clear. So that couldn't be applied to them because, first of all, they said specifically, we've never embodied. I told you we've never embodied any man. And they weren't. The whole story, that's future story. That story's happening now. We don't want in bondage for 400 years. That's a fact. So that show, we destroyed. We doing God's will. We destroying them because they never did those things to you. And you was never in Egypt anyway. You wasn't fleeing out of there. They never did those things. You was there to show your goddamn lie right there. See? But see, remember, you gotta remember when this takes place. See, there's some confusion about this. Now, when I went over there and checked Farrakhan's lives, you can't do unto them. God, look, it says, give you back to her as she or as also she have back, and double you the double according to the works of her, and the cup of what she mingle you to her double. Right? So as many as she glorified herself and lived unreigned luxury, so much give you to her torment mourning, because, right? In other words, give them double what they did to you. That's command. Not suggest command. So everybody, we can't do them as they did to us. What he's saying is, that was his people. He's a devil. He started as a sperm. He came from his father. His father's a devil. We got him admitting it. We got pictures of him. Just Google it. So he don't want to take vengeance on his people. The murderers, the liars, the rapists, the terrorists, the devils. Right? So it says, vengeance is mine, said Lord. So you must be the Lord then, because it says they're telling you you take vengeance. Right? But if you look at the Amalek, where it says you do it afterwards. You see? So how you put this thing together? It says wipe them out totally. So, but how do you do them as done to you? Right? See? So let's go back and look at that again. You haven't been double, right? According to it, right? But it says, come out, hurt my people. So you don't take of her plagues. But you're the one that's plaguing her. So that means you will not be here doing this. And you got to connect the dots. Read chapter 17 is you inspiring people to do it. So you inspire the 10 horns to do it. To take out the harlot. And to do these things they say about where it says it. Toward morning, says give her torment in morning. Was those things there too, right? See what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? Those are going to be your weapons. Because when they come in, they're going to tear this place apart. It says, we inspired her to do this. We inspired the 10 horns to hate the harlot and to make her desolate, right? You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? And then eventually just wipe them all out. Eventually, at the end of it, just rid of all of them, just wipe them totally out. Right? Not while you're here. Because they was doing that while you was here on the way out. It's hard costs on the way out. Okay? Like I said, you're gonna be fighting a defensive war on the way out. They're gonna attack you. And it says the weak ones. What do you mean the weak ones? That's weak-minded ones. The ones in the back and can't keep up. That's what they're telling you. Those ain't gonna make it. Because they don't have the protection. They don't have the angel mind. And they don't have the 5 pillars. That's what it's talking about here. You got to be able to read between the lines here, brothers and sisters. Like he told Exodus, Moses came to the camp. But we know that's not actually Moses. We know when showing the angel key, that's that 4th wind. We can get to that in a minute. So that shows a line over there, Amalek. It says, wipe them out. But you're not going to do it personally. Right? One of your main weapons is going to be the goat. And they're going to come in raping, killing, murdering. And they would hate the heart. That's China. India would be with them. They don't see it now. Japan would beat them too. See, all the enemies going to, all their lovers going to turn against them. No, when this happens, America is going to find itself isolated. Satan is going to be in America. Everybody's going to sink it. Please, no. Nobody's going to help them. It says none will help them. It says tides will come out of what? East and north? I forget exactly how it says it. They're troubling. It says you don't go out to try to destroy everything, trying to hold on. But he gets defeated and says no one helps him. Everybody's going to turn against him. Because America's done evil to everyone. There's no way America has. Now it's even turning on his own friends over in Europe. That would be Armageddon. That's Amalek. It's vengeance. Terrible vengeance. You're not going to do it personally. See? All it's consequences of what they're doing. It's the consequence of what they've done to you. See, because that's why it says, wipe them out. So, I mean, this is the consequence of what they did to us personally. Because we wipe them out. There's no other consequence to anybody else for do anything to them, right? So their destruction, that's why I said, do not touch that tree. Because we'll wipe them out totally. Totally break them. But we got those going captive, we talk, they're still in there. We're going to talk about that a little more later too. You understand, brothers and sisters? That's Amalek. I said, now we give her double, but you're not going to do it because it's just come out of my people. So you're not going to be doing the plays personally. You're going to do it after. So in other words, this is hell. Once you're out of here, you're going to rain down hell on them. You're going to inspire. Now you're not only going to inspire the enemies, but you want to assist the enemies in destroying them. What do you mean assist? Right? Master Muhammad will nullify all their so-called nuclear weapons. They will not be able to use them. That's how you assist. We're not going to do it personally. That's Amalek, brothers and sisters. So remember, so just wipe them out. Thou shalt blot the remembrance of, even remembrance of them. From under heaven, thou shalt not forget it. Don't forget, you're going to do this. It's a command. Therefore, it shall be when the Lord have given thee rest, right, inheritance, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek. Blot out. Mother heaven. That's their future for what they did, fate for what they did to us. And let's talk about the false vision decision. See, Elijah came, the God came and provided us a vision that we're lost. Right? Tell us about the covenant. And Elijah prepared a way for the message of the covenant. But see, it's still been a time of winter. Still a time. So Elijah had a double job. He had to prepare a way for the message. But how was preparing you way for it? It's like if you're preparing for the spring, you're still in the winter. If you're preparing for the spring, you're still in the winter. So if you're preparing for it, that means the message of the covenant like this, so you're still in the condition you were before he shows up. He's the one who's going to take you home, so that means you'll still be here. Right? So he has prepared you, so that means you have to succeed here to get there. You have to succeed here to get there. Because when Mass Muhammad came out, people was on, I'm sure later, right? Was on E. It was collapsed. They have knowledge. There was mind against them. They were destroying themselves. They didn't know about discipline. They didn't know anything of that. They was following what devils taught them. Following devils. And if you follow the devil's path, that's even destructive for you. Because see, they have low discipline, but it has some discipline. Discipline times energy equals power. Now they had low discipline, but had a lot of energy. That was the whole idea of putting them in charge. We had a lot of discipline, but no energy. So I don't know how much discipline you got, right? But ain't 10 times 0 is still 0. But then we start getting energy by following the devils. Remember, they got low discipline. We didn't have any. We had natural discipline. We just wasn't developing it. Like a man has natural strength, but he has to develop it. A man has natural strength, has to develop it. I mean, you have ability, you have to develop it. So we have natural, but we was taught not to, based on we found the devils, right? Eating 3 meals a day, eating pork, drinking, and everything else. We found an example of no discipline. Right? So therefore, we was on the way out. We was on the way to being destroyed. Because their power was still crushing us. Because we didn't have any power. We had energy, but no power. Energy times discipline equals power. So we was practicing no discipline. That's the whole thing. There was no discipline. What Christianity said, you have to have discipline. Christianity tell you don't need this. Why you got to just call on Jesus? That's what the Catholic Church told you the same thing too. You didn't need any discipline. You was on the grace. You just had to believe in Jesus. And so they had people thinking that. You don't have to have any discipline. You do everything you want. Because the Catholic Church, you can do everything you want. Or you got to just go and ask the priest, tell the priest you did it. And you get 3 Hail Marys and you're done. You see, it's a whole, both of the religion about no discipline. The Protestant religion practiced some discipline, right? See? Because they said, because they was before, in the Catholics, you don't have to have, and Catholicism, you don't have to have any discipline whatsoever. All you got to do is confess to the priest and boom, 3 Hail Marys. But in Protestant, you had to follow some discipline. That's how they got power. Because they start applying they start following some of the laws in there. They follow some of the laws, and if you go check Christianity, right, 500 years ago, they start following some laws like that. So now they're following the guidance of Scripture Bible, sealed Bible. So therefore, they was practicing some discipline, so they became powerful because they had more energy, and when applying that discipline, they become more powerful than the Catholic Church, even Sunnism. You see? But they started declining in that discipline. They started falling away. By the time the 20s came in, right? 1920s, it was pretty much everything gold. I don't know if you know that. Coke, that's why they call it Coke, because that's what it was. It was a drug initially. They don't tell it was in Greece anymore, but it was cocaine. Coke, that's why they call it Coke. Discipline was rapidly falling. So then you started the wars kicking off, World War I, World War II. But the bottom line is, black folks were on the way out because they wasn't applying any discipline. They was following the devil's. And so, and they had less energy. So if they had any power at all, it was still less than the devil's had. So the devil still controlled them. And if greater power, greater pressure, crushes lower pressure. Our people were being crushed until Master Muhammad showed up and started teaching discipline. To Elijah, discipline. See? Eating properly, fasting, restraining from fornication and pork and all that kind of stuff. Started teaching discipline. To Elijah. We're going to talk more about that later. Right? Okay, so our people start getting strong. Because see, if Elijah had high pressure overcomes low pressure, so if the pressure increases, they would never take over the country because they would have higher pressure. The devils saw that coming. They saw that coming. See? And then the fact that Elijah Muhammad, remember, what he's speaking, what he's teaching is higher pressure mind. See? So therefore he was overcoming the pressure that they was putting on our people. He was overcoming the pressure. He was overcoming, because by teaching them, they was overcoming the pressure. They started coming out of that crushing mode. Because our people were being crushed when Master Muhammad showed up. Raised Elijah. Okay, Elijah gave us the vision, because we didn't have a vision. Our people without vision perished. We had no vision. Right? We had no vision. Right? It was Ham. It was doomed to be cursed. We couldn't be slaves all our lives. And we prayed Master. Master prayed. He asked Master, would he pray for us if we died? That we go to heaven and still serve Master in heaven. I mean, that was the thinking. He had no vision. Our vision was tied to the devils. And they was cruel about it. Because you be on your deathbed, you don't work, you're 30, 40, 35 years old, and you look 90 years old. They worked. They said your life expectancy for a male slave is about 4, 5, 6 years. That's why he brings someone over. They work you to death, and then you die at 4 or 5 years. They had to replace you. You didn't have no long lives when it comes to. They showed you the movies. They showed old people. Those people, go and check it out. Those old people, look at old people. I mean, he's about 80 years old. No, he's about 30 years old. They work so hard. He looked like he was 80 years old. And then when you're in work, they work you 24/7, relentlessly, no matter what kind of weather anything was. And then here you are, and now you can't make it anymore, and you're about to die, and you're on a deathbed, and they go, Master, please, Master, tell Jesus I was a good nigga. Yeah. Because now you don't want to go to hell. And you're already in hell, don't know it. But Master told you this is worse than this. And you say, damn, I don't want anything worse than this. Because you know how bad this is. Master really got you. You're going to worse than this. You're going to put your hell, and it's going to be forever. Forever. You ain't get no rest or nothing. Oh, man, Master, please tell Jesus I was a good nigga. I worked, And Master, cruel. He had all the stage right. Nah, man, you didn't work hard enough. I ain't going to tell Jesus that. You're on your deathbed, and you're just looking for a little, work this fool, work this devil for 5, 6, 7 years, relentlessly, 24/7, no rest, nothing. They fed you shitlings. If they fed you at all, beat you all the time. You're lucky if you got 2 or 3 hours sleep a night. If you're a female, you're just raped constantly. And they raped the men too. And now burnt you out. And then, please, now, Jesus, I was a good nigga. Nah, you wouldn't. They put them up to the other slaves. So now they can't work as hard as they are. I mean, when you work as hard as you can, how can you work any harder? But they try, because they want Master to say some good stuff. And Master had no intention of doing it. So I keep the slaves in line. But all they can do is work. See, because they don't keep their head, they don't keep that cotton. See, because they made Master say some good to Jesus for me, because I don't know. That's the situation they had our people in. Terror. And now you sitting there fist bumping with these folks? That's horrible. That's horrible. And that's not even the worst of it. And so Elijah Muhammad gave it a vision after Master Muhammad raised him up. He gave us a vision right there. Abrahamic covenant, nation of Islam. And they was like, hey, you can't have the people with discipline. Because they overcome us. It tells you in there that was their fear, that you would fight against them and lead the country. So they said, man, we got to take that vision away, because that vision was inspiring their discipline. And we're going to talk more about discipline a little while later, right? We're going to be here for a little while, I think. So what happened? So 1948 said, we got to destroy this vision. So what they do? Blew it away. They got their man Farrakhan. He's one of them. See? Someone had no vision. That vision belonged to them. And Farrakhan ain't telling you gotta, he's telling you, he's agreeing with that vision. Because he don't tell you you're going home. You ain't going nowhere. You stand here. Devil ain't devils no more. But it's just like all demons, all wolves in sheep clothing, he disguised himself as one thing. I'm with Elijah. I'm representing Elijah. But he's doing something, but he's really inwardly, because he's duplicit by nature. He follows the devil. But his mother's is black. I don't know if she's original or not, but she's black. But you know, no matter how much you disguise yourself as a lamb, if you're a wolf, you still gonna sound like a wolf. You may look like a lamb, you sound like a wolf. So how he sound? He sounds like a damn wolf. We ain't going nowhere. Devil ain't devils no more. We are one. Because he's one of them. He's not singing Elijah Mama's song. Oh, the synagogue say something all right. He's singing the wolf song. He's singing the devil song. False Israel song. See what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? That's what he did. He blew away the vision. Let's look at it again real quick on the look, brothers and sisters. He blew away the vision. Blew it away. 1948, blew it away. And he's come 1975. He said to establish it, make sure it was totally blown away by 1975. The nation was gone. I'll tell you that later again. Okay, the commentary, brothers and sisters. Paradise to my energy management. Okay, so look at this. See here? Now watch this. Got this then. This is reality here. This reality here. In 1990, Suleiman comes on the scene, having broken the 7 seals of the angel, the gospel. As I explained, this may give you a scripture. A scripture has twofold. It's a gym, because if you want to develop a muscle, you got certain equipment allow you to do that. I mean, you got a leg machine, help you build leg muscles. You got, right? So scriptures is build this, and this is force. Thought is pressure. And so how to increase that pressure, increase your power of thought. If it's greater than the pressure around you, then you grow. If it's less, then you're being crushed. So he sends it to your situation, and you apply that. You start studying it, because that's how you do. You go lift weights. You have to lift it. You can't just look at it. You have to lift it. And same scripture, you have to study the scripture. And when you study it, that's how you think. That's the same for the brain. Studying is the same thing like lifting with your arm. And you get confused. That means, just like if you get sore, that means the muscle's building. If as soon as you get sore, say, hey, you stop, then it means you don't get anywhere. When you get sore, you know, hey, that means that muscle's building. So when you get confused, that means now you're learning. Because once the soreness goes away, you got a stronger muscle. And once confusion goes away, the smarter you was before. You're more elevated mentally. But people don't know that. Oh, man, that's too confusing. Well, that means it's hard. That means, oh, that weight's too heavy. Yeah, but that's the one's going to make you give a big muscle. The heavy one. But you say, oh, man, that's too heavy. Well, it's no benefit for you. And, oh, it's too confusing. Well, it's supposed to be. That means the more confused it is, that means the stronger you're going to be once you get it. The heavier it is, that means the stronger you're going to be once you lift it. Same concept. So he said a measure of profit in. With that gem, that's the scripture. Show you how to increase. Apply it. Yes, you apply it, study it, and then you put you in high zone, high pressure zone. Once you do that, then you overcome the reality, because the reality is pressure. This reality is pressure that came out of somebody's mind, came out of Adam's mind. God made God's mind. This reality is pressure, itself is pressure, and it came out of minds of pressure minds. God can make God. And so one understands this pressure, then a greater pressure would blow it away. So how is that in 1990, angel was given, he got the angel and started studying it, right? By studying it, right, it started increase his brain power. That means he created a high pressure zone, and they tell you that no one was able to do that, because you had to break the seals. You had to have enough pressure to break the seals, enough discipline to break the seals. It took discipline to break the seals. So he had to have enough discipline to break the seals. No one had it. So that means he's a very disciplined person right there. Nobody had it. So he was able to do that. And then now start working out on that machine, working out on the angel. It creates a high pressure zone. Right? And once the high pressure zone becomes greater than this reality, it starts growing. And this reality gets into resistance mode. Because you're crushing it, it's trying to keep from being crushed. If you go in the elevator and it's full and you start expanding, then everybody's gonna resist because you're taking up more space, and they have less space, and now and the more you do it, the greater resistance coming to it. Maybe a fight or something, or you crush them. You understand, brother? So in 1990, Superman came along, son of man. That's what Superman means, Superman. With the angel and start working out on it. Creating a high pressure zone. Okay? So how that happens? He pops up, he's studying it, right? Okay? Now, high pressure. He's vocalizing. He's putting it thought process. But got to activate it, right? So his thought process is stronger. So now he's got. If it's spreading out, that means the pressure is greater. If the pressure was less, then the circuits be going inward. So now he's got pressure waves going that's bigger than the pressure around him. Bigger than this reality. See what happens. Here we go, sister. Boom. It's blowing away this reality because high pressure blows away low pressure. At some point, it blows away this reality. And pressure comes. See? It gets back to Farrakhan. He's either keeping on the same level of pressure as society or less. We'll talk that later. It's greater, it's expanded. So it blows away. That's the process happening now. I just haven't got there yet. It's almost. And there you go. So he's bringing a new reality. Blow away the old one. Now this reality can handle greater pressure than the old one. So blow it away. New reality coming in. because high pressure zone, so the other eye cannot come back in because it's lower pressure, and plus it has an ability to become any greater pressure anyway. See, the demons and the devils, they have a limit to how much discipline they can have. Remember, discipline times energy. Since they're weaker, their discipline is less. They're limited how much discipline they have. I mean, you tell me 1 million 3 days, and they panic. They have less discipline. That's why you couldn't open the engine, and they can't. They're trying to resist it. They can't. The whole point is they're going to be trying to resist. They're trying. They're resisting. The process of resisting, but it's not going to work. I explained that earlier. Because like I said, you were taught discipline, so now, but that's a caveat there. I'm going to get to that in a minute. You see what I'm saying, Brown says? So now, pressure is greater, expands, and lower pressure is on defense. One Brown sisters. Nothing to stop it. High pressure. Let's talk another subject. Now we'll get back to it another way in a minute, but feel your paradise. See, these things you get, you not get this information. Now you ain't like it. Nobody even understand it. You never heard any of this stuff before. You know nothing about it. I know you didn't know about it because you never heard it before because it wasn't revealed until now. The preacher ain't talking about this. Farrakhan, he doesn't know. Remember, he's grafted brain. He could understand stuff even if he wanted to. It's for improved mind. You process of getting that mind. The thing is, like I said, you don't get this information, anything like it. I mean, it explains everything. So say it's your energy coming in right here. Fueling your paradise. See, you get everybody gets the same amount of energy. Nobody ever told you that before either. It's a fact. See? Everybody's the same amount of energy. It matters with you. Do you control it? Someone else controlling your energy. Energy will not just lay there. Somebody it's controlled by something or somebody. So here, fuel for paradise. So you get so much energy. And so how you manage your energy? How you manage the energy you get? Because you look in the mirror and you see the result of your investment. Look in the mirror and see the result of your investment. Because you are an investment that you made with your energy you get. Everybody gets some energy. So you use your energy all day watching NFL, and you don't have energy for anything else. You need energy to breathe, think, hear, see, interface with your family, your friends. Energy for everything. You have to prioritize your energy. How you going to use it? If you knew this, you don't know this. You didn't know this to do that. You just think I got energy. You never thought about where you get it from, how much you get. I got energy. Maybe I got a good night's sleep. I smoke crack. Well, no, that's not how you get energy. We all get the same amount. Momentous in heaven, earth comes all of a sudden. Every 50 years. So your reality around you. See, right now, we're part of this reality. But what part of this reality, how do we fit in this reality? Because as long as our pressure is lower than theirs, then we're part of their reality. But we being oppressed in it because higher pressure overcomes lower pressure. Nothing you can do about it. If you're in their reality and their pressure is greater than yours, you're oppressed. You may not realize you're oppressed, and most of you are oppressed. Because you're employees. You're still a slave. You're industrial age slave. This industrial age now. What was slave like industrial age? We know how to look at agricultural age. You had to pick cotton, being grape, and everything else. What we look like in an industrial age. That's an employee. You're still a slave. Now you call it an employee. Then you have certain perks and stuff. Because before you came here, there was no such thing as employee. When you was home in Africa, if you was in a tribe or you was in a city, a part of a family or whatever, there was no employees. No such thing. No such thing. See? So now over here, I'm employed because you're still a slave. And capitalism is, by definition, a slavery system. What's the maximum benefit from capitalism? Maximum profit, minimum overhead. So unless they have to pay you, the more profit they make. So if you go out and make $10,000 for them, say, oh, I want you to go out but you made it for them. So, and they come and say, well, I'm gonna give you $1,000. Well, why do you get the whole thing? If you made it, that's what you're worth. They can't pay it, or they wouldn't make a profit. It's an exploitation system by definition. And we've been the most exploited. Because my maximum profit, minimum overhead, that means we was in the fields. How come overhead was no more, come on, man, minimum than that? Yeah, but they was benefiting all the work we was doing for them. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. So they had to pay for our. They threw us in a little shack at night. My uncle told me, that people, he died old, but they shack, they put you in a room like a closet, attached to the house, and lock you in there. You and your whole family. If you're defecating, they got to eat on each other. You couldn't get out. It'd lock you in there all night. As long as 2 or 3 hours sleep you were able to get. Mm-hmm. That's what they was doing. So you had energies, but they was managing energy. Used for that purpose. They have children. They have the same amount of energy you have. But you control the energy. You say, well, you can do this, you do that, you go here, whatever. You control the energy. You understand, brothers and sisters? So, you part of this reality here because your energy, the reason why you part of this reality, because your pressure level, your thought pressure is lower than theirs. They have you, the sealed Bible, Jesus, all that kind of stuff. They make sure you stay there because they have control over you. That you have control over something when you control that which is lower pressure than you. Higher pressure controls lower pressure. So we're still under control of them. That means we have lower pressure in them, lower thoughts, and they want to keep it that way. See? And as a result of that, right, that means you have lower pressure, but the quality of pressure is still under their control. See? They say, oh, I got $1 million. Okay, well, I want to buy, well, you can buy a shit farm. You ain't buying no gold mine. Even though it both cost $1 million. That's controlling the nature of energy. They control energy. They say, well, you can live here, you can do this. See, they control that energy, the quality of it. Right? They control the magnitude of it by us following the example, no discipline. So they keep us at low distance, so that means they can still control us. Understand? And also control the quality of our energy. So we're still in school, so call it employees or whatever. So the only two solutions there is increase your pressure was greater than theirs, or get away from it. And so Elijah came and was increasing your pressure. Remember, we wasn't creating so be great in theirs up to be equal. That's why I say things be money, good homes, and walk of life. Be equal to master, so master won't be oppressing you anymore. So now you can he break their oppression of you by making your pressure equal to theirs. He couldn't take and make it greater because that would be the message of covenant come and do that. So what's the result of that? Feel in your paradise. So here's Master, here's my watch, breaking the seals. Studying the engine. Remember, you got to study it. That's the same thing as lifting. You got to study it. It's going to be confusing. That means you're growing. The more confusing, that means the heavier it is. Once you get it, look how strong you'll be. You can't go to the gym just look. Have a personal trainer do everything and you sit and watch her. You won't get strong doing that. And many of your lessons condition your arm. Okay. So look at this. See, this is, right? He's in a low pressure zone. This is the pressure that's putting on him. They're grading his mind, so he's oppressed by these. He's acting foolish, stupid. Because all these pressures are supposed to keep his mind less than the pressure these devils here run it. Is this their reality? Yeah. So it's the quality of the pressures. But Master Muhammad embraced that. Yeah. Okay. Let me cut to the chase here. You have to fuel your reality. Remember, you get your energy. Everybody can say my energy. What you do with it? What you're doing is you creating your reality, because you're giving the form to the energy you're getting. You're giving form to it, and that's your reality. Okay? That's what devils did. They took the energy they was getting and gave it form based on what they understand the angel Bible, the seal Bible, and this is what the reality come up with. So when you come in, but they get the same mind they have, so the best you can do is come here, but that reality is going to be lower pressure there, so you're still going to be employee in subjection to them. Because you're going to build your, remember, they control the quality of it. So now, because you still, remember, you're still being oppressed by them because your power is less than theirs. Your thought pressure is less than theirs. So not only you're in oppressed mode, you employee, you got to work 9 to 5, you got whatever because we're still under their control. Remember, higher pressure controls lower pressure, so we're still under their control. That's another way of looking at it. We're still under their control. We're employees, we're still under their control. And then they try to change the quality of it because it's under their control. They can affect the quality of our energy. So now they keep it less by teaching us lack of discipline. They don't hang out, do your thing. I think I'm gonna identify as a girl, whatever. Kill your discipline. So keep your pressure lower than theirs. Pressure times discipline, or energy times discipline equal power. Or pressure times discipline. Either one you're gonna put there. Energy is force. See? So that's how you keep your discipline down. And then they control the quality. It's like you got $1 million, right? And so if you're in Japan, then you can buy things that you can't buy in Germany, or you can't buy them. See what I'm saying? So being in that environment can determine the quality of your energy. You got energy with it. This is just what you got to buy. So here, they say you can't move here. That's why I have this whole, what do you call this thing? In the community zones, whatever. Right, where you want to move this neighborhood, but you got to go to the community thing. That's actually illegal. Let's keep your ass out. I already been down that road. A couple times we was gonna move to a place, and everything went down. Everything was covered. And they said, "Well, what do they call it? Community, whatever it is, right? I forget what they call it. acronym for it, right? And they won't allow it. And so if they don't want me, I don't want to be anyway. I don't want to be around to begin with, right? But the thing is that you can sue them, but you ain't got the money to be suing them. Because how can they tell you can't move in this community? You understand that? So now you can live in the ghetto. That's why they started. When I was a child, they didn't have suburbs. Didn't have them. That came up after the so-called 60s when the so-called civil rights, and they fled out and started building up houses out of the city. They were living in the city, started moving out. Or farms. They started actually building up suburbs. That means cities outside of the town. Suburbs is not just farms, there's cities basically, right? Urban cities, not urban cities, but country cities basically, because they build communities out there. And they make sure you don't get out there. I would give it a call that, right? Community something, whatever. You understand, brothers and sisters? So, following the example, make sure you keep your discipline stays low. So that means your power stays lower than theirs. That means they self-control you. And they've been losing control over you since so-called, why? Because you have natural discipline. It's just, you're not developing it. And you don't know how to develop it. Like a man can naturally strong in the woman, but he don't know about the gym, no, anything like that kind of stuff. So he never developed it. He got natural ability. You just walk around. You see him walk around, no muscles or anything. Like olive oil or something, like a spaghetti stick or something. Yet they have all the potential. They could look like the Hulk. But because they don't know anything about developing muscles, they walk around. And some got arms and everything smaller than females. Now, if they don't know it, they don't care, but the point is, you see what I'm saying? They have to develop it. So you got you walking around, you got all this discipline power, and it's not developed. And so make sure you never develop it. Like I tell people, if women got control of the world, the first thing they would do, that was wise, to ban gyms for men. You would not be allowed to gym, and exercise would be forbidden. Then but they could go to the gym. And so you could never overpower them, because the only thing you could overpower them with is your strength, and you wouldn't have any, because they would never let you develop it. It's like they told us you couldn't read. Now, would you make a law that a dog couldn't read? Why? It don't make any sense. What's the point of making a law that a dog couldn't read? Well, that's why they made a law that you couldn't read, because they know if you start reading, right, you start developing this here, and you overpower them. That's why they made the law, because they knew that if you start reading, you start exercising this, they're through. And now people are not exercising this. They're not doing it. The NFL, NBA, they know all the statistics on that stuff, right? Partying, hanging out, drugs, they're exercising this. They're not doing it. And so therefore they keep control over you. Because you start exercising this, that's their ass. The men start going to the gym, secretly going to the gym, that's why they come out, boom. It's all over for the females. They can't compete with them in strength contests. So execute, man, if y'all catch you going to the gym, that's a felony, That's murder. Execute your ass. They can't allow you to do it, because they will lose. You take control. Understand, brothers and sisters? They don't. And some of you, after a while, guys so thin and everything else, man. And then he got so weak and everything else. He found out about the gym. He said, "Man, I can't go in there." He just gave up. Because now he's a little stick, arms like big as a spaghetti stick. And he can do it, but hell, man, woo. It'd be years before he could, right? And 4, 5, 6 hours a day at the gym. He said, man, woo. Because he let himself get down so weak. And our people with the drugs and everything else, that's why I say he had the 40 years in the wilderness, because it was just too late. Too far gone. They don't know anything. Someone can't even add subtract. And I keep every time I run to the brothers, they tell me, I don't know about, I can't deal with math. I wasn't good at math, man. I hate math. And you're the mathematical genius. You are math. I tell you, I said part of the reason why you don't know math. First of all, you ain't. They teach it confusing. They teach it in a confusing way anyway. Then you don't know what to do with it to begin with because you don't know what it is. And plus, the math they give you is mostly theoretical stuff because they don't teach you how to apply it. Now, some people like the so-called synagogue of Satan. Now, they don't know how to apply it universally. They don't know how to do that. That's what angel does. But they know how to apply it in their reality. So you got this guy, he goes in there and they got this capitalist system, right? Finance. So he goes to school, man, he learn all about finance. So he applied calculus and all to that. Remember, that's not the universal thing. That's just their particular slice of reality they develop. And so when his son comes, he sees the relevance of learning math because now I look all these things I got, man, all the quality of life I got. Look at the quality of life that daddy got. If I learned math, I had a quality too. Didn't have an incentive to do it. But you say, what the hell I need that for? Why need to learn calculus for? You don't see a way to use it for anything. You don't know what, because see, they see a practical application. But you don't have a father that knows anything about this. So you don't even know what it do for you. See, that kid he knows, oh man, if I learn calculus, I can do this. If I learn trading, I can do this. But you say, if I learn calculus, what am I going to do with it? So you say, that makes sense. I want to learn something, spend time doing something, I don't know what the hell to do with it. What can I do with it? I can tell you, I got people in my own family that went and got these stupid ass degrees that never worked one day, and they got all this money haven't worked one day in it. I got several people in my family that's done that. I tried to tell them, they didn't listen. Got a big connection to it. And you don't know how to do that. So therefore, it's meaningless to you. So you don't do it. Okay? But everybody's talking NFL, so hey, if I learn the NFL, if I know about NFL, I can talk to people, I got a social life. So that means that's relevant to you then, that's relevant. But it's worthless. See, about energy management. So you have to go to the gym, but how you fuel, it takes you have to use your energy to do it. You can't go beyond that. So in other words, you go, you get the machine, and how you start development. The energy you have, you apply it to that function. And so the result is, you come out of the hole. Well, that's your creation. That was your investment of your energy. That's your reality now, right? From your energy, you create that reality from your energy. You got just as much energy as everybody else, but you use it for that. Somebody else uses their energy for something else. You develop this, you might use develop muscle. Whatever, how you use it. So when you look in the mirror, what you see is how you invest your energy. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. You see here? Now, we didn't have any energy. We had enough energy to maintain ourselves. That's our energy deprivation, because we didn't have enough energy to maintain civilization. The Earth was in a state of low energy, because all the energy was out there, building stars, constellations, all that kind of stuff. So it got to a point of energy deprivation here, right? Low energy. And so we didn't have enough energy. You take energy to think, energy to walk, energy to talk, energy to see, energy to blink your eyes, energy to go to the bathroom, take energy, everything takes energy. So if you need 1,000 units of energy a day just to maintain your heart, your lungs, right? The digestive system, and take 1,000 units, that's all you're getting. You have no energy for intimacy. You have no energy to talk to other people. You have no energy to do other things. You have energy to maintain civilization. It takes energy to do those things, to maintain a family, to create a family, to take energy for that. You don't have enough energy, so everything fell apart for us. So the solution was, if we can make a being that requires less energy. So if you're a Lamborghini, man, everybody got Lamborghinis, right? But they don't have enough money to maintain, so everybody's got them, but they're sitting in the garage, right? They take $1,000 a month to maintain it, to buy the shorts and everything else. But you have the money for gas. So everybody's got them. Man, we got them, but nobody's moving them. Because nobody had the money for it to move them, to buy the gas. So then you go out and say, well, can you make a car that don't need as much? How about how if you make a Volkswagen Beetle? Oh, well, make a car low, they don't need that much maintenance. And it only takes $200 a month to maintain. I got $800 left. So you do that. Everybody's got one of those guys. They're moving and grooving. Right? You sitting there nowhere. You can't go anywhere because you ain't have money. Because all your money is just to maintain the thing. But they moving and grooving, they partying and everything else. And that's what we did with Yakub. So okay, that's with devils. And the biology tells you they're recessive. They have less. They came out. Even science tell you they came out of us. Their genes are recessive. Our genes override. That's why if you get a black and a black and a white person together, if you just on skin level, if you have genetics, the baby is most likely to come out dark because our genes are more powerful. That means it takes more energy to maintain them. So now they didn't require as much energy. So the Adam, but he'd be weaker though, weaker structure. That's why he make men shed blood, but he get control. He make men shed blood, but he get control though, because he requires much energy. But now he can rule. You couldn't rule. That's why I told him, hey, you can't rule. You gotta submit. You get the story now? Yeah, you can't rule. You gotta submit. Baby, listen, that's another story together, right? Because Adam could rule, but he'd be weak. He'd weaker virgin, but he didn't require as much energy. That's the math of it, brothers and sisters. But now universes can start contracting, and energy start coming back. It's momentous in the heavens and earth, but it comes above a sudden. So it's all by the earth. Anybody knows physics know for that state to be true, the earth has to be the center of the universe. And it's all by the earth, momentous in the heavens and earth. And earth converts to form we can use, and then we experience it. And we're in the process right now, because every 50 years it happens. Because the first ones we start breaking out of our captivity 20 years ago. No, not 20 years ago, 150 years ago, 1860s. Okay? Because start getting energized. 50 years later, the 20s. Remember, because we had the blues back then. See, the music reflect that. I won't get too detailed here about this, but the music is a hint. We had the blues go. We had very little energy, but at least we broke our chains. And then 50 years later, right? 20s, hey, now jazz. Start feeling jazzy. Start Eurocentric. Start thinking about African stuff. We didn't know anything about that before. And 50 years later, right? Rock. What else they call Motown. Rock, when just rap came out of all that, right? Now, black and I'm proud. She's black and I'm proud, energized. See? So, I ain't putting up y'all shit no more, civil rights, all that kind of stuff, right? And now we're 50 years later. What kind of music is about to come on the scene now? Victory. Because now we're about to break all chains at this point. But now because we have more energy. See, in 50 years we gained more energy than we had before. So now we got more energy. So now we got enough energy now to maintain, right, family, tribe, a basic civilization. That gets more complicated because we don't need them anymore. But you don't know that because you don't have the right mind. So you remember the quality. So he tells you, hey, use your mind, use your energy. NFL, so mismanagement. Instead of using it to gain power, go in that gym and develop this, because that's what defeats them, because it's a mind war. It's your mind against theirs, and they keep yours low. No pressure, the pressure low. Maintain control of you. So you're misusing it, and that's what it got you doing. No discipline. I think I'm identify as a girl, I'm identify as a guy, I'm identify as a dog, whatever. Right? Party, drugs. Put in movies where no discipline, children don't discipline anything. They teach you. They're doing that purposely to make sure you never, because if you do, you overcome them. And so that's what Elijah came, right? And to give you enough, to show you where you have enough discipline to stop from being oppressed. That's all he could do. Not for you to gain power over them, just come to the same level as theirs. That's why I said money, good homes, all friendships, all life, right? Because remember the ultimate of getting rid of them all together. So it's two stages there, because why would you want friendship and you're going to destroy them? During that period of time until the message of the covenant come, money, good homes, and friendships for all walk of life here, because the 400 years wasn't be over until the message of the covenant came, and that would be when he came, and then he started the process, but it wouldn't be over until 2020, 2019. 2019. So you had to survive until that, because we're being crushed. We're being crushed out of existence, because there was got all these programs and everything to keep our mind, and so that's what Master Prophet did to Elijah, right? So if you follow what they told you to do, right, then you had enough discipline to offset what they was so equal there, so they wouldn't question anymore. So now you could survive here until the spring came. Because we're still in the winter. You understand? But I'm just showing you, I'm going to talk more about that later. Probably jumping the gun a little bit here. But see, now you got enough energy. You got enough energy to put gas in that car now. Put it that away. Now you can drive a Lamborghini. But here's the energy coming in. So what are you going to do with it? Okay. What are you doing with the energy? How you develop it? Okay. You got energy, so this is what message coming is. See? Get you to do. What happened here? See? You bring your paradise. Once you discipline, you bring it into the reality. Remember, your paradise is when you break reality consistent with yourself, your nature, you. Extension of you, not somebody else. You're like, I want to be like Michael Jackson. That's not paradise. I'm like Denzel. I ain't paradise. I'm like Beyonce. Paradise is when your reality is exactly like you want it. Not like being like them. Everything like you want it. Or she like chocolate, I like chocolate, she like chocolate. No. That totally, it's like, it's come a part of you. It's like your heart. Your lungs, it's part of you. I don't want Beyonce's lungs. No. Your reality becomes part of you. It is you. It was created by your energy. Okay? That's if you have control of it. Your paradise, this situation where they create their paradise because they control their energy, they manage it properly and have control of it, the quality and the quality of it. So they manage it, they have control of it, not the devils. Because the devils, if you was the devil here, okay, I got me a job, I got me a condo. That's the quality they gave it. Paradise is when you have the quality you want it, exactly like you want it. Not like somebody, because right now I can buy this car, I can't do this, I can't lease this, right? I have to work here, I do this kind of job, get this kind of degree. Because there are other people telling you how to do it with your energy. When you get home, you will have total your energy, and then you apply and you create your paradise. You fuel it. You have to fuel it. Because you got to keep giving fuel to it. Every day you got to keep giving fuel. Every time you get energy, you got to keep fueling it. Otherwise, it's going to dry up. You got to keep fueling it. You got to live the life of constantly. All the energy you get every day, convert it, and your price gets greater and greater and greater. You have to fuel it. That's what I'm talking about. Fuel your paradise. But right now, you're fueling their version of what they think your paradise should be. which is hell, actually. You're fueling their idea. You're fueling their mind. Because you don't have your mind, the mind they gave you. So actually, really, and what's that? That's back to capitalism again. Because what you're fueling is their paradise. See, we're part of the fuel. Okay, remember you have quality, right? You get so much energy of that's quantity, and the quality of it. So the quality is by going to the gym and or whatever. If you want to build muscle, you got to go to the gym, do it, whatever, right? Whatever. See? So we like the robots that's building theirs. We building that quality. They're using us to build the quality of it. We build all this for them. You ain't building it for yourself. You're an employee. So what are you doing? You're taking energy to give it the way they want it. I want you to do this, boy. I want you to do it, nigga. I want you to work. You see what I'm saying? You using your energy. They're taking the energy you have for yourself. They control the quality of it, right? To build their quality. Because you're building their quality. That's why I'm talking about building robots and stuff now, see? But now that's why I call it Negro butts. Because you're building the quality of theirs. You're not building the quality of yours. Quality of paradise. You know, that's okay, let's move on, brothers. And now you got Farrakhan, right? Wants you to build the quality of Sunni stuff too. Oh, we're gonna beat the Sunni. We're gonna go over them and worship them. That's what it said about the golden calf. You start worshiping, took that for a god. No, we start using it to manage to build there, because they don't give a damn about you. Everybody protesting about what's happening over there. When have they ever come to protest about what happened to you over here? You suffered the word in any civilization, any people in the world. You ever see them come in and protest anything about your situation? You see? So now you build a quality there. You come over here, you want to help build that blue mosque and all that kind of stuff. We're a tool to build everybody's quality, their paradise, without energy, because they control our energy. So Farrakhan, you go there, or we go over to Sunni land. We allow them Muhammad, we forbid them to even come to the temple. Forbid them to even come to the temple. They could not, Sunni Arabs could not come to the temple. They would stop them at the door. Farrakhan bring them right in. Everybody's using this. So what Suleiman does, he's correcting all this. You start using quality yourself. Turn it around. Start using your energy for your quality yourself. Get you control of it. Okay? Elijah would give you enough to neutralize, right? So you wouldn't be oppressed anymore. You have your own house. You still had the quality it is. You just wasn't oppressed anymore. Because he made you still had quality. You still was under the quality here. You didn't have to control that yet, because you're still here. You had to get out of here. So that's why he said, do it yourself. Build a house, build your own store and all that kind of stuff. Still quality it is. Still quality it is, because we're still here. That's why I had to get out of here. But as long as you're here, but the point is you didn't have the discipline to keep them crushing you. So he was able to neutralize that. By giving discipline, they weren't able to crush you anymore. But they still had control of your quality. That's what Elijah's all about. So now, you was free. You wasn't being crushed anymore. But you still had under the authority of their quality, because we're still here. So you build a house, you go to a store and that. They said the object was first to free us from being crushed, and then free us, right? Free us from being crushed, and then start increasing our power. So now our power will increase, and also we have to control our quality, and that will be up to the mission of the covenant to do. About spanning, right? Because right now, just stop being oppressed. If our pressure is equal to their pressures, they can't oppress us anymore. We can oppress them. But if yours greater, then they can't oppress anymore. And they resist it because we're oppressing them. If our oppression can grade there, they don't want that. Okay? So he was able to neutralize, so we wouldn't be oppressed anymore. Money, good homes, and friendships, all walk of life. That's why they was saying stuff like that. See? But they told you, all walks of life, they told you was going to destroy most all walks of life. That means after. But while you was here, we're still in the winter, how to survive during the winter until the spring comes. Spring's on the way. He's come to tell you, spring's on the way, but you still got to be alive to enjoy it. So that's what that was all about. See? So they still had quality. They didn't have quantity. They didn't have control of quantity anymore. Was it? Right? So that's what happened. Okay, let's move on, brothers. Just hope you understand. I'm going to talk more about that in a more mathematical in a minute. Oops, I keep doing that. Mm-hmm. Oh boy, a little technical. Oh boy, what's going on here? Why? Oops, okay, it's not going to work. Hold on. Wait a minute, brothers and sisters. Wait, something. Wait, something. Hold on. I did test that, so I don't know why it's not working now. I don't know why it's not working now. Let's see. Oh, I see. Okay, I added that and forgot. Okay. Should work now. Well, let's do it this way. Oops. Little things like that get you every time. That should work. Okay, 1 second here, brothers and sisters. Check on something. Okay, hopefully everything is okay now. Yeah, okay. See if this works now. No, let's see if it works this time. There you go. Yeah, well, that was my mistake that time. Nobody hijacked it. Okay. Okay, transition new season. Let's talk about that. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to talk the process, the mathematical process of, I just mentioned about Master Muhammad, right? See here, we had no discipline when he showed up. It was being crushed. He was fresh. In fact, it was being crushed. We had no discipline, so it was being crushed as a people. Because we didn't have no direction. We didn't know who we were. We had energy, but we was misusing it. It was out there, zoot suits, and you heard stuff about Malcolm, how he was just a criminal, like, he was doing all kinds of, because we didn't know how to control our energy. Like, you have money, you don't know what to do with it. He's out there just part. Right? So we had energy, you don't know what to do with it. Right? So he showed up. Master Muhammad showed up. That's the condition we was in. So no discipline. We had more energy now, so no power. 0 times energy is 0. That's when he showed up. Okay? So he was being crushed, see? When he showed up. If he hadn't showed what he did, would have been crushed out of existence. That was the aim. And then set up Elijah. Now, he forced discipline on you. So he started, right? And enough to neutralize their force. So it neutralized, so it wasn't affecting us. The quality was being crushed anymore. The ones that listened to him. Because he forced discipline. Now see, that's a very important point. Elijah forced discipline. Because usually Elijah, he forced you to go out there, he forced you to stop eating pork. He forced you to sell papers. He forced you to do all those things. You had to do it. You kicked your butt out of there. Forced discipline. Forced discipline, well, it's just good as discipline if you can force somebody discipline, it's just good as discipline. It's still discipline. Maybe forced, but it's still discipline. He forced discipline. So therefore, the people were successful. They had money, homes, all that other stuff, right? But they wasn't doing it on their own. He was forcing them to do it. Still wasn't ready. They hadn't absorbed it yet. Still forced to do it. See? Because they weren't studying those lessons and all that kind of stuff. In fact, they actually looked down on people that did. Because you used to call them bean soup scientists. In other words, all you do is study them lessons. They used to talk bad about brothers like that. They would go to the restaurant, like Elijah Muhammad had a special restaurant on 75th Street, I believe it was. I worked there for a little while when I first came in the nation. It was his personal restaurant. We should probably be surprised restaurant. They'd come in there, boy, and they'd be sitting around and they're just talking about the lesson, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, people laugh at me. Y'all bean soup scientists, y'all don't do anything. So they actually looked down on people that, and the ones that was doing it, they was like, they were science. They was, well, I don't think really call it studying, but that's what they talked about the lessons. Talking about it and studying 2 different things. Going to talk about, hey man, I talking about the gym, all the equipment. That's not the same thing as actually living, is it? And either way, they was called bean soup scientists, right? And me, I was studying the lessons. And somebody would talk to them, and so they tried to call me bean soup scientist, but I was actually studying. But I was selling papers, I was doing all this stuff. Everything Elijah Muhammad said, I was doing it. But nobody had to force me to do it. That's no, I'm gonna get to that one day, another time, and explain that. But nobody asked me to do it, because remember I came on my own. Nobody fished me in. I didn't know anything about it. I wouldn't look for Elijah. Nobody came, that's another story. But that's a forced discipline. So now the pressure was neutralized, because he was giving discipline, but was neutralizing theirs. Okay? So now you start doing good. Money good home, because I tell you, after Elijah departed, I kept what he was doing. So I had in me. Nobody had to force me to do it. I was doing good. I said I had a mini mansion. I said 5, 6 bathrooms there. I know it was a bunch of bedrooms. It was 3 stories. Nice piece of land. Detached garage with an apartment on top of that. The mayor, Orange, lived right down the street from me. Right? It was really nice. I was doing for, and I had no degrees in that stuff. I was following Elijah Muhammad, the discipline. I was following with this, and that's what he said. He baptized right? So when Jesus went to, he said, yeah, you can't. I ain't worried. He said, no, I got to baptize and all store together. But the point is, I was jamming, had my own business, rolling in dough, nice new cars, everything. Because I applied it after Elijah Muhammad departed. It wasn't forced on me. Okay, so what happened? Then Elijah departed. And since he wasn't forcing the discipline anymore, it went away. And Farrakhan missed that. So people turned back. They went away. Some went crazy. Some went back in jail. Some, I don't know if it said suicide, but they said ran back to the devils and everything else. Yeah, because there was only discipline because Elijah Muhammad was forcing discipline. He wasn't here to force discipline anymore. Everything fell. He wasn't here to force it. As long as he forcing to do it, they stopped selling papers, stopped doing all kinds of stuff. But Wallace didn't make him do it anyway. He said, you don't need this stuff anyways. He was right along with it. He was right along with telling me, you don't need discipline. See, people don't know that. Wallace said things like, the only reason why the Quran said we don't eat pork because they didn't have the means to cook pork thoroughly back there. We got microwave and stuff, you can kill the germ. Yeah, he's saying stuff like that. He was making all quick, because he, all right to eat pork. People don't know this stuff. I was there. There's no secondhand conspiracy. See? So you didn't have to do all that stuff anymore. Or you just pray. You had to go build. We don't need stores. We don't need this. We don't need that. No discipline. You weren't teaching any discipline. Eat 1 meal. Nobody eat no 1 meal a day. They threw all that stuff away. You know how Wallace died? Diabetes. Did that do anything for you? That's where he died. Diabetes. They took the discipline away. That's how it fell. Elijah wasn't there to force discipline anymore. Everybody was happy for it. Oh man, I ain't got to sell papers no more. I ain't got to do this no more. And one of the first things Wallace did, he has a big old picnic where everybody just go and party. Picnic, everybody, you have picnic, all this stuff, pies and all. That's what he was doing. So I was there. And that's why I felt no discipline. Said power. That's how he made a left and stock and everything else to the world. It's a joke over there now. My daughter's married 3 of those clowns, and all of them just clowns. None of them worth anything. I told her, don't go over there. I told her, if you go over there, don't go over there and drink the Kool-Aid. She didn't listen. 3 failures. They don't do anything. They want her to do stuff. No discipline over there. You see? Okay, so he departed. Then what happens? So that's right. No discipline. Stop. Pulling up. And then you can't see them right there, but those arrows, the black arrows, they point inward. So Farrakhan made it worse. Scientology and all that crap. What you need if you got the supreme wisdom? What you need Scientology for? L. Ron Hubbard. That's their worship of it. I know when I was over there, so they used to have big conference things on the phone, with a network, whatever. Everybody get on there, and all they want to talk about L. Ron Hubbard. So I said, well, what about it like? And they muted me. They shut it down quick. They're not about discipline over there. And Farrakhan make it worse. They talk about how they don't obey that stuff. I remember when I went over there, right? I was in Florida and I went to what was it? I think it was in Tampa. A few years back, right? And the captain, their little study group, they don't have temples anymore. Even in Tampa, I think they got one temple. They call it a mosque. I think it's in Miami, all of Florida. Guys had it all over the country. A little study group, and this group they took, and it was like somebody let them use a kindergarten room at night. Little kindergarten thing, let them use it at night. And little kindergarten chairs, that's what you sit in. And they give you some crap that Farrakhan wrote, and then they give it to you, and then you got to read part of it, give it the next person. It's propaganda. That's what they was doing over there. And so the captain, he was suffering from gout, a young brother. He had to be in his 20s. He suffered from gout. So I said, what's wrong, brother? He told me. I said, why don't you have maybe 1 meal every other day? I assume he's doing 1 meal a day, right? That was a damn something. He wasn't even doing 1 meal a day. He said, you mean that stuff really work? He said, you mean that stuff really work? That's what he said to me. You mean that stuff really work? He's a captain. It's stuff from gout. Gout. They don't believe in that stuff over there. Yeah, I tell you, Farrakhan said, yeah, he didn't mess with black man. They don't believe in that stuff. Muhammad said, we'd be fools to stay here. He said, we ain't going nowhere. I said, a wolf in sheep clothing, right? He looked like a sheep. Yeah, see, Elijah. They don't believe in that stuff. Look, all these people dying. They won't tell you the reason why Ava died. We know why she died. They hide it. Why? And all other ministers too. Because they died because of either one of them died for COVID and another one died because of diabetes and stuff. Because they don't believe in that stuff over there. They tell you, oh, you write the books. No discipline, and he makes it worse. That's why I make a laughing stock iron. See, that was the point. So they point, and then he point. He got his even making it worse. So he got the devil's putting pressure on us, and then he's taking and weakening the pressure you even already have. Weakening that. So Native Islam that's why it says being consumed. With love consumed, spirit's mouth is being consumed, is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. No discipline over there. They don't sell any papers, anything. They don't own anything, they don't have any property, anything. Farrakhan's rich, but look at him. How you doing? Cancer? Why you get cancer? Was you reading how you live, Farrakhan? You the curse with a curse, you rob nations, like it says in Amalek. It's all simple, clearly, bro. But they try to cover it up. He wasn't doing no 1 meal a day either. Remember something, Mosaic, he's going to be, what do you call those, Mason. He's going to be a Mason. How you be a Mason? How can you be a Mason? That secret. You're supposed to be the leader of the Nation of Islam, and you'll be a Mason? How you square that circle? So I mean, you got secrets from your own people. You can't say your own. You supposed to be telling everybody everything. So I mean, you got Mason. You got to keep secrets from your own people. You supposed to be a leader. Your loyalty. If you're a Mason, you got to be loyalty to them. You understand? If you're a Mason, that means you got to be loyal to them, not to the Nation of Islam. We got a picture of Mason. You gotta be loyal to them. Swear oaths to them. Why is he doing that? See, people don't pay attention to this stuff. Forget about the fact that his father was the devil. See, so this is what happened. That's they there right now. Then what happens? And then Suleiman comes along and start giving you discipline again. That's the ones that are listening. But he's going to do it to the whole nation. See? But right now, right, 5 pills, those ones are listening. Right, 5 pills. This has been the time of tribulation, which is about to happen soon. Okay. So that's what he's going to do to the Nation of Islam. Give their mind back. See? So they can start growing again. But he's going to make them not just balanced, but greater pressure. 5 pillars. That's overcome. And then math, see? Obeying back, it's a little slower to slow down, brothers and sisters. So you understand this. See? Master Rama shows up. Bam! What does he do? Look at this carefully. He gets rid of. Oh, okay, I need to back up a little more. He gets rid of the vectors that, by they got American dream, breaking their power. Gets rid of that. So there's no that resistance. braced that. That's just here, right? So he neutralized it. Somebody neutralized it, right? He braced this. That's what's about to happen, right? And then what happens? See, that's gone. That's how I took care of that. Boom. Man, growing, powerful. Because now you got your right mind, and you're fueling your reality now. So you give your quality. Understand, brothers and sisters? And then boom, they're gone, and you're home with the pair, the messenger of the covenant and the God. I'm prepared to wait for them. See? Prepared to wait for that. Now you're home. And the devils, they're gone. Remember Amalek? Trying to get you to understand, brothers and sisters. Let's look at this. I think we're getting pretty close there. I told you it's going to be a while, brothers and sisters. I actually had this ready yesterday. I had two ready, but I worked hard to put both of them together, and then what happened? It takes a lot of time. That's why I can't be distracted. Don't have time for the BS, too much BS out there. People come here with BS and all that kind of stuff. Like I got to deal with them like children and carrying on. I don't have time for that. But Muhammad was told to go ahead and play patty cakes with you. I'm not. Right? So see this right here. Now I don't know if you can understand this. You see in the center there? That's the greatest pressure. Outside, the next ring is little less pressure, less pressure, right? So you get down to that white. This white one here, if you can see it. Then here you got a wall. So there's no more room, right? Like the earth is so large. So you say, this is center and maybe this is a continent. No, it's after a while. As far as you can go. Right? So this shows this is a limit. But the formula is 1 over r squared. That's how the pressure decreases. So 1 r is the radius. So r is 1, 1 over 1 is 1. If r is 2, then you got 1 over 4, 1/4. If r is 3, 1/9. So you get smaller. That's the formula. Okay? So I'm hoping you can understand this, right? So in other words, what happens is this the maximum pressure? Say Suleiman, the angel is the maximum pressure for this time period. So right there. Right. So say for instance, he was living in Mecca. Then maybe Jerusalem, surrounding that, right? It'd be a lower pressure zone. It'd be high pressure, but lower than that. Right? So the people there, they couldn't live in Mecca. It'd be too much pressure for them. But they could live in Jerusalem. You understand? And then the next group, they might be able to live in Jerusalem, but they may be able to live in Egypt. They couldn't live in Jerusalem because there's too much pressure around it. See? So you got those different concentric circles until you get out here, right? And maybe this is South Africa or something, right? So you can live there. Because that's what they said about kingdom. So the center was the highest pressure, people can be there. That's why it says the time will come and people say, this place is too straight for me. Because some place they couldn't go because the pressure's too great. The mindset, these people are talking super mathematics, super calculus, and you know calculus, you know the calculus, so you can't talk to them. The language, they talk a super mathematical language, and you better understand what they're talking about. The pressure's too great. But you go further, right? You see, if you understand that, until you get here and say, there's no more room. No more room. In fact, you get here, there's no more room. See? Our kingdom, that's the lowest pressure we allow. The lowest pressure we allow. And that pressure is still mathematical language. It's just low mathematical language, but still mathematical language. We won't allow anything less than mathematical language. Put that away. Right? So the highest mathematical language live here, the lowest mathematical language live out here. And they couldn't come in here because it'd be too much. These can go out there, but this could not come in here. Because the quality, the test to come here means you have to, maybe you have to know calculus. You only know trigonometry. Well, you won't be able to get here because you don't know calculus. I'm oversimplifying, but you understand? Okay. So that's as far as you go. Right? That's what we accept. Right? So we told there'd be a place called hell, and there'd be a place called the tyrant. That's outside. I'm gonna show you that in a minute. Well, I'm sure here in a second, but it says, because it those outside the kingdom. That means, what do you mean outside the kingdom? That means they're still on the planet, but they're outside the kingdom. So the kingdom is limited, right? It's limited. The kingdom would come to certain geographics. Then it says those outside the kingdom. So that means, if that's what I'm gonna show you that in a minute. So that means there must be a place on earth that's like desert, for instance, right? That'd be outside the city. So if you could live in the city, so you have to live in the desert. You see what I'm saying? Because it's desert out there. So you can't qualify to live in the city, so you got to live a desert life. You understand? So here is the limit. This checkered thing here, that pink thing right there. So that's the desert out there, right? So that way. So those that can't qualify to be in here, they'll be out here. And there'll be three groups. Now the first one right here, right? Okay, this is, remember those everlasting shame and appallment. See? They can't be in here because everlasting shame and appallment. They can't speak any mathematics at all. Everlasting shame and appallment. Remember that group? And then you got the tyrant, right? They still, right? It's still part of, right? That's the tyrant. They, like I said, they would be punished. A good part of their punishment because they was the ones that were in the fish pump with the devil and that kind of stuff. And that's part of the group because I'm just saying one of the reasons. Our ancestors suffered under the Holocaust to extremes. And these folks act like that stuff didn't mean anything. They don't care. Oh man, that's past, man. These my fellow man, the devil, That's past, like it didn't mean anything. So now they got to be terror and tyrant. Well, he's going to put them in the same. Elijah Muhammad said he's going to put them into. I don't think he said 400 years. He might have said 400 years, but he said they're going to put him into hell. Like he didn't call it Holocaust, but he put it in a slave condition as bad as we had. So now they can feel it themselves, right? And they can be mocked because you disregard the sacrifice and everything out. So now you feel it, and they be mocked. So you're tattooed. So their children, right? They have children. They'd be married and everything in there, but they'd be under the tyrant, and they'd be in a similar situation like we went to the Holocaust, forced to work and everything, hard labor, and their children be marked too. So it'd be everlasting. So that seed will always be marked for that. That's part of the group of people that's in there. And then you got out here, right? This is hell. These are those hell is where, I told you a long time I met that what he called Siberia, way up in those places where it's really cold. That's where the Quran told you about that. It says they're going to be thrown into hell in a place where there's refuge, garbage, and everything else. And it says there won't be no shade for the sun, no clean water. They'd be drinking like urine and stuff because they'd be placed their garbage and stuff. And it says but it's be very healthy. Remember, because everybody be energized. Remember, it says energy management. They can have so much energy we have, but they ain't gonna know how to manage it, and we're not gonna teach them to do it. Plus, they don't have discipline anyway. If they had discipline, we wouldn't teach them. So they're doing hell. So now they got all this energy, but they totally wicked. I mean, it says, right? It said there won't be any family ties because they be scared. Remember, they ain't know there's no food up there, so they eat each other. They be eating each other. And it says It says if this, it'll be so healthy, might have so much energy that if their skin says it, so if their skin is burnt, they get new skins, be renewed. That's how healthy they'll be because they have so much energy. But they wouldn't. First, they don't have the discipline. They don't have natural discipline. We won't teach them discipline, right? Because they say be abandoned. We won't teach them discipline. Plus, right? They won't know how to manage energy anyway. They don't know about fire cooking. They don't know all that stuff because they didn't listen to that stuff. See, the ones that did listen and applied some discipline, those are the ones that's going to be taken to captivity and they're going to be out of service forever. See? They applied that Christianity. It was weak, but it was enough to keep them from being crushed by the goat when he came in. See? So they'd be oppressed because their pressure be lower than ours, right? So therefore, remember, higher pressure controls lower pressure. So we have total control of them forever. They'd be our service. But these here, right, they had transgender and all this BS, right? So there's no discipline at all, none. So they're out there, and everybody's scared of everybody because they know they're the only food. The women be running from the men, and it says that worm will never die. That's what Jesus said. That's a nice way of saying it, right? And their reproductive parts will be on steroids constantly. That's what it says. They won't be satisfied. That's how much energy they have. We have to worry about ED anymore. What about Viagra? So it'd be total, all constant. So the desire for sex will be constant, 24/7. But ain't nobody to have it with. So they catch another guy, so man trying, like little rabbits, trying to satisfy, and you can't. You just can't satisfy it. So you keep doing it, you do it, right? And it's still, can you even imagine that? And catch a woman, and she's running like hell. Because while he's doing it, he's also eating them, biting on them while he's doing it. Because he's hungry too. That's the only food he got. And he catches her, she gets away, he gets pregnant, just like the animal, drop him. The dog wouldn't have a baby. That's hell. And some black folks would be in there with them. You can throw them in there with them. That's the worst of the worst. You talking about demons, the worst of the worst, throwing you with them, the devils. You see? Understand that? That's what the street, if you understand that graph, that's what it explains. See? So watch this, what it says here. See? Let me see, I make it bigger so you can see it. See what it says here? Happy to wash the robes of them, in order they will be authority of them upon the wood of life, and in case they might enter into the sea. Then again, this talking about the Levites, because they wash their robes in the blood of the Lamb, right? But look at this here. Outside the city. So that means there's a place outside of the kingdom. Outside be the dogs, druggers, the fornicators, the murderers, adulterers, and everything lacking in doing the lie. Oh, the ones that have no discipline, they be outside. See, there's right there. That's chapter 22 of the angel. Why don't they talk about these verses? They don't talk about this stuff, do they? Moving and grooving with the verses, right? So we give you all the scriptures here. You hear talk about, if I told them, first of all, they don't talk about it because they're lying. Secondly, they don't know what it means anyway. They don't know what it means. They have no idea what it means anyway. You get all everything. Okay, let's talk about the 4 winds. I'm gonna close, brothers and sisters. Now the 4 winds brings about the resurrection. But see, Angel Key, you have to understand Angel Key to really understand what's going on here. Because this tells you when all this is supposed to happen, which is in any day now. It's based on this war that they're going to have. No, they're going to Rand in America and false Israel and UK, if it's God, may God for Antichrist. They're going to war with Iran. That's going to happen any day now. Trump already said he'll make agreement. They're not going to make an agreement. We just don't know how long. We know it's going to be any day now. And that's when so we're going to talk about this is exactly what's going on right now. So, well, let me go ahead and make this larger too. Well, I don't know. Well, we'll see. So it's talking about this. Talking about doing this what's happening here. You can read at your own leisure, right? See, it says Moses didn't come down. He's talking about angel key. See, Moses represents this fourth wind right here. And that's one of the things that angel like Daniel. You got to be very careful with pronouns. They get you on those pronouns. You think you're talking about somebody else, talking about somebody else. And here, the fourth wind is actually Elijah. So it's telling you remember the fourth winds blow. That's when the resurrection takes place. So at this point, it's telling you that some of the things happen here is when actually the fourth wind actually happened. So what it says there was a sound of war in the camp. That means war is going on. But he said, it's not the sound of cry of victory, nor the sound of defeat. That means while the war is going on, that's about to happen. The war is going on, but it wasn't the sound of victory, it's the sound of defeat. And this is where we are right now. But see, at the point, no, we ain't here right now. I should have changed this, right? Let me do that. I didn't think to change that, but I should hold on for a second, boss. It's going to take a second to do this. I didn't think to do that, but because that's not. I want to show where we are actually right now. Oh, come on, there you go. No. Right here. Okay. Oops. Okay, that's good enough. Okay. One more. Continue. Okay. Okay, I do it. Okay, I want to show where we are right now. Right now, Iran, see, I'm not going to JCLP, all that's explained, but anyway, at this point right now, America, Britain, and Far-East in control of the Middle East. But Iran, and right there, there's conflict between the two. They're trying to regain their position, put that away. So, when this happens, that's the war, which they will win. But it's not the sound of victory or defeat, so it's war is going on. War is going on, right? Okay. So I talk about Moses. Moses is actually Elijah, and Moses is fourth wind. But see, they said Moses, they really send the fourth wind. So that means you know the time frame that all this is going to happen. And that's when the war, remember the war starts, the war's going on, that's when Suleiman takes control of NOI. People in the dark see the great light. It says some become black. That's why it says black, because you understand, right? And it says when Moses approached the camp, so we're going to say in a minute, because this fourth wind, that's actually Moses, right? So at that point in time, while the war is going on, that's when the winds start blowing. Golden calf is, see, this represents the calf. But each side here, see, each one of these is gold. Well, this actually represents gold too. Each nation. So this represents the calf, and that's the golden part, which is Sunni, Babylon alone. Let's move on. See, what's going on? America and Britain get kicked out, but the war's still going on because false Israel is still under siege. Okay? And that's when Moses comes and says, enter the camp, right? And now most of the people out of control, Aaron had got them out of control, they don't read that part. And point of hearing, and the point of being a real object among the enemies. So that's why I said they were being crushed, and everybody, they ain't what they used to be. And Moses stood at the gate of the camp, right? That means the four winds are blowing. And whoever is for the Lord, come with me. So the point is, remember, he at the gate of Aaron's camp, it means he come to the NOI. And he says, those with the Lord, remember, the one that's seeking the covenant, come with him. So in other words, that's the four winds are blowing, right? The war's going on, come with him. That means you have people over there that was with Farrakhan, they was just there. Because he said, they're with the Lord, they left Farrakhan and came with the winds of separation. That's what it's talking about here. That's why I said, when thrones are cast down, his day just set. So it was with, that's that same man in Mark, right? He hadn't got his mind back yet, but he left Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds, NOI backwards, right? Left him to run to Son of Man, or Joshua, or Jesus, what you call him. You understand? So that's what's happening here. While the war's going on, okay? And so, remember, they got kicked out. And they started attacking all black people. Why? Because false Israel under siege, the war still, if they're under siege, the war's still going on. They're still under siege. And remember, the whole idea was to keep us from understanding the vision. When false Israel goes down, that means we default to the vision, because they was there to keep us thinking that they're the false, true seed Abraham. But if they go down, we realize they're not. Remember, if that wasn't a concern, they wouldn't have to put false. Remember, they put false Jews up. Then they got to do all out to protect it. They said, everybody's asking the question, why are they so stuck with large and false Israel? They ain't doing it in America because they need it, because there's a force. It's a mental force to keep us, right? Remember, force, thought. It's a force to neutralize our thoughts in that area. I'm talking about quality. So if we start thinking that way, you got to come with something to neutralize that. If we start thinking, and Muhammad has thinking the message of the covenant. Remember? Because when Martin Luther King talked about it, they killed him the next day. He was talking about the promised land. That's the message of the covenant. He said, I don't know if we'll be there. I'll be with you or whatever. So he knew he was going to leave after he talked to Elijah Muhammad. And they killed him the next day. So the point is to keep you from that vision. That vision is a force. So they block that force with a lie. False Israel up there. So you have to keep it there to keep that force, neutralize that force. But if that goes away, that force, there's nothing stopping that force anymore. And that force is a unifying force. That's why they didn't want you to have it. That force that we choose Abraham, that's a unifying force. That's a rallying cry. And so to keep you disunited, to neutralize that. But if that force goes, there's nothing to restrain that vision anymore. And so there's nothing to restrain our unification. And that's exactly what happens. Because then they attack us, because once they're gone, then we have unified. So the attacks to keep us from happening. Right? When they lost the ability to stop us mentally, then they attacked us physically. Because that's a mental force. Force is a mental force, they've been vector. But now use a physical vector. Mental is physical too, but you understand what I'm saying? It's force. Force is physical. So they come against fit. Now, because they don't, we're going to have more power than them. So they're attacking us here. The war's still going on. Right? Because part of the war is attacking us. That's still the war. Right? Understand? It's trying to tell you exactly what's going to happen when, the time period. Okay, so then what happens? Okay? So they said until this happened. It says, okay, here, right? All the blacks, they attack. Right? War's still going on. Right? And that's when Moses says, those with the Lord, because we says that the war's still going on. So then he still have to. So they're together. They're all together now, unified. So it had to be unified for him to say that. He said those with the Lord, because if they wasn't mixed together, then why are you going to separate something that's not mixed together? So they're all mixed together, right? So he says we're going to separate them out. So those with the Lord, come with me. So what it says here, it says and. Okay, backwards, previous. Say, and stood at the gate and said, whoever is for the Lord, come with me, and message of the covenant who they were seeking. So what was blocking that is gone. See? Because they was blocking who's message of the covenant, partly false Israel, and then all these other clowns out there blocking, because people, if you're seeking, that means you don't know where it is. So that's gone now. So that's when he says, whoever's with the Lord, come with me. That means the fourth wind is blowing now. Four winds are blowing. And when four winds blow, this happens. See? Four winds are blowing, and that happens at the same time. There's your key. Right? So all the sons of Levi came, right? And where it says, every man said, okay, separate them. And so Levi separated from the demons. Right? Those with the Lord. Who wasn't with the Lord? Aaron. It was Aaron's camp and all his followers. If they separated, he says the sons of Levi came. That means the rest of them weren't Levites. See? He said all the sons of Levites came. That means the rest here. Who were they? They weren't Levites. Most of them was demons. He said all the sons of Levi came. What did it say? Let's go back and say what it says here. And the sons of Levi, and all the sons of Levites gathered to him. So what's left here? These are Levites here, NOI. These are not Levites, these are demons. And Aaron was one of them, but because he didn't come to me, he was with them. You see, that you got to enter the key to see this. Right? And so then he says, he took and separated them out. He said, why 3,000? Because that's the 3 year. Each one represents 1,000 if you understand there's a key. And what happens? Boom. Cast them out. Throw them into the fire. Back to the swine daddies, like it says in Mark. I hope you understand, brother. It's clear enough. This is what's going to happen in the next few days. This is where we are right now. Nobody's telling you what's happening in the next few days as clear as this. In fact, nothing they say is clear. Everything they say is confusing out there. They have no idea what's going on. And Pharaoh guys say, God told me to shut up. So he's supposed to be a watchman. He don't know. Now his preachers know. I'm telling you detailed information about what's happening. I told you these things before they happen anyway. I told you when Pharaoh come in and announced it, 3 years ago, Armageddon is going to start in Europe and spread over that. Where's it at? I said right then, it's on my station. Go out there and look at YouTube. I said, no, you're wrong. That was before so-called abomination happened. What happened over in Gaza? I said, no, the war's going to break out in the Middle East. That's where the war's going to be. But there will be a war in Europe. There'll be Armageddon, but it's going to be triggered by what's happening in the Middle East. Right? And not only that, but I've been told that for 30 years anyway. There war in heaven. But I was, anyway, let's move on. Okay, so it, brothers and sisters. That's quite a bit. I don't know how long I've been here. But it's been a couple of hours, I think. So I took a long time preparing this. I covered a lot of stuff. Hope it wasn't too complicated. That's where we are right now. So if you understand any of this, you should have a clear vision. Like I said, on a clear day you see forever. Clear vision of what's happening, what's about to happen. Okay? That right there increase your mind a little bit, not that much though, because you got, getting in the gym is part of it, right? getting on the machine's part, but you got to do something with it. You got to start exercising it. You have no idea. I said, my power's been tested. They threw me down out for 3 years, and boy, I kicked their ass over there. I was all by myself, had nothing, no man, nothing. They threw me in jail, everything else. I'm here. I beat them 100% everything in every category. They couldn't understand how the hell I got out of there. They threw me in jail. They did all kinds of stuff, right? They didn't torment me. They didn't put their hands on me. They didn't do anything like that. I already been. The scripture tell me they do that. And the master would tear them to pieces. They never done anything like that. They didn't touch Elijah and Muhammad either. They didn't put a hand on them. No, nobody put anything. Nobody put anything physical on me. One person tried to poison me, but it wasn't them. 3 years. And they came at me every kind of way you could imagine, and I beat them 100%. They put me on trial. Actually, real trial, jury and everything. I had no money, nothing. No lawyers, nothing. And I beat them. I walked out and they couldn't figure out how I did it. Because I got the angel mind. There's no one on this earth can F with it. See, I knew this before I went there. But, I knew it from nothing like experience. Experience needs scars, but nothing like experience. You see something there, you experience it. What I experienced, what I saw there, they say, if you know how to see God, if I was a Christian, boy, I'd been on my knees, God, thank you, Jesus, boy, because the stuff I saw was amazing. It's like an angel was right behind my shoulder, just kicking ass. But I knew it was the mathematics that was doing it. They locked me up. Right away, I went on 30-day fast. They tried to force me to eat. I went 30-day fast right away. Bam. I don't want none of your food or anything. Right away. Immediately. I kicked the 5 pillars into gear, high gear. I admit I was a little nervous at first. I had no idea what that was going to happen. I should have knew. Like I said, sometimes it says the Son of Man, he'd be like someone who, how do you say that phrase? Seeing many things, he comprehend them not. I mean, he'd be so busy looking at everything else, he don't see how it affects him. They say it'd be like that. He'd see all the stuff, everything affects everybody else, but he never thought about how it affects him. I should have saw that thing about Jonah. I didn't see how it affected me. It already affected me. About the hedge. They have that my demon, right? Thing is that, like I said, I was rolling the door and everything else. Once I picked up the angel and devoted myself to that, everything dried up overnight. I lost everything, my mansion, my house, everything. Like overnight, in 1 day, it's like it says in Daniel, 1 day, it was all gone. I didn't bat an eye, because I understood, 100% angel was this world's life. I gave it up. I understood about energy then. So if I put total energy over here, I won't have an energy over here. By me putting total energy over here, I had no energy to maintain that anymore. I couldn't fuel both. If I try to fuel this, I won't have enough. If I try to fuel this, I won't have enough to fuel this. So I said, this needs 100% fuel. You understand that concept? I had to fuel it. To maintain that quality of life, I had to fuel it, my energy. You only got so much energy, everybody got the same amount. But the angel required all my energy. I didn't see it coming, but once it happened, I realized what was happening. And so boom, this dried up because I wasn't going to fuel it anymore. I got a lot of flack behind that. Right? My children, everything got mad. But I put total fuel in the angel. That's what it took to break those seals and everything else. So I said, oh. So like I said, I had some experience. Right? Like I said, seeing many things, see how it affected myself. So I knew about Daniel and all this stuff, right? I mean, Daniel about Jonah and all that. But I didn't, it didn't dawn on me that how it affect me. I was going to how it break the verses down, how it's going to affect my people and everything else, right? Because when I had a contract up in Indiana, right? And it was this company, and it was an Indian company, right? I had a contract with them, and I was showing child support system up there, whatever. And something went down, and they lost the contract or something. And so the Indian guy came to me because I said, I knew my stuff, right? So that's why my name and everything else and my attitude. But they knew if they wanted something done, I had a reputation, sharp. See, and like I said, these white boys, they don't know shit. 90% of my money I made, right? Because they bring me in to clean up the programs and systems they wrote, didn't work. Can you fix this for us? I tell you, he's nowhere as smart as you think they are. Anyway, so, and the guy came up and said, hey man, I got a new contract out in Guam, Demon Island. He asked me to go and run the contract for him. They're going to give me some good money, right? But I run the contract for him. I was going there, I'd run it. New contract they got. So they need somebody to make sure that they didn't mess the contract up and everything else, right? So I should know, man. Going out, that whole thing about Jonah, going out overseas and the place where it was right in the China region, that's North Strip, you understand, Angel Key. I should have saw that one coming, boy. I just saw that one coming. And after I got there, it hit me. You know, right, just like I said, I was still stuck 3 years, stuck there. I could not leave. 3 years there, I was stuck. And all kinds of BS, they threw me in jail, everything, false charges, the whole 9 yards. And part of the reason why I was there, I took that contract, right? Because I had the information, but I wasn't going over there to talk to Farrakhan and those people over there. I was totally hating those folks what they did to Elijah. And that's what it said. Jonah was supposed to go and talk to them. And I said, man, I ain't going to talk to those folks. I didn't see it that way at the time, right? What I know is I wasn't going over there because I had the angel. One thing I did do, I sent Farrakhan a copy. I keep forgetting to put the book over here. But I got a green book. I published a whole bunch of them. In fact, I gave a lot away because over the years, I run into a brother that was say he was still with Elijah, right? And he told me, hey, one brother, who was that brother named Babatunde? Out of Atlanta. I don't know if he's still around anymore. He was older than me. And he sent me a cup. So I sent him a box of those books. And I thought, right, so I got about 2 boxes left, right? I mean, I was, stripping and stuff like that. Because during those days, I didn't have the internet. So I used to publish stuff, put flyers and stuff out, all that kind of stuff, trying to tell people, plus I had me like a temple, because I said that I told you I had a detached house, and it was a garage with a room over it. So I used that as a temple, right? And I had people come over and I try to tell them about the angel and stuff. I had a whole different approach then for the internet and all that kind of stuff. So, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, and what I did was, I sent a copy to Farrakhan in 1990. Registered mail, make sure you got it. Registered mail with a certified, whatever you call it. Right after that clown got that cancer. Right after that's when he got that cancer. Check it out. So he must have looked at it and say, man, whatever. You got that cancer right after. It says, who the Lord will consume his spirits of his mouth and destroy the brightness of his coming. That's when he got that cancer. Good for his ass, said, robbing the nation. So that's what, I'll get 100%. So like I said, and I just saw that thing coming and go, oh, but I said, I said things to Farrakhan. I said, man, I ain't going to tell, 'cause I had some deals with some of these people. That's a long story, but they was thieves and robbers. Let me say this quickly. At that time, what I was trying to do, I went into the angel. So I said, well, one way to do it is try to, I was mixing up with Elijah's program a little bit, right? Because what I did was I said, well, okay, I was going to take, right, this before everything just collapsed. I said, everything just dried up overnight, right? Because it didn't happen as soon as I got the engine, I broke the seals, right? And it took me a while to understand what was going on in there. I didn't go intention to break the seals. That's a long story, but I said, I got hold of the book. I like solving more puzzles. I went and said, well, let me try to figure this out. I didn't know I was breaking these seals. As I got in, I said, oh, what the hell I got myself into? The bottom line is that I wanted to tell people, right? I'm in New Jersey, right? And so there were these brothers, right? And I don't know how I guess they must have responded to flyers. I don't know how I got in touch with these people. I have not gone so long ago. It's like, 35 years ago? And so they came around, and so what I was going to do was, since I knew I was buying and selling real estate, all that kind of stuff, I was going to show them how to do this kind of stuff, right? Because remember, they lost discipline. It wasn't doing anything. It wasn't building anything. So I was going to, show them, because 20 years wasn't up yet, so I was going to show them how to realize the program. And so one thing we did was that there was like one group of them were like masons, not political masons, but you build houses and stuff, with your blocks, like I said, you that stuff. So when I went out and I went and got a contract with people to help build their house. Because that's what I was doing. I had contract. I know how to deal with people contract. I was buying, selling houses, all that kind of stuff, right? So I got it. And so how I did was I was going to supply all the equipment and all that kind of stuff. But they knew how to do the block, all that stuff, right? I supplied the equipment, all that stuff, right? And then at the end, right, then we split the money up, right? And the way it was, initially I was going to get the majority of the money because I had to buy the equipment that they're going to be using because it's the next project. So one of the ideas was, I told myself, let's build, once we got that contract going, so we worked together, let's build loss. Because I said, black folks ain't familiar with loss, and we can build them cheaply, and they can have nice places and everything else. Because if you know how loss would lie, because they could build loss, we could build them cheaply. I said, black folks don't know about that, but it's a good, it's a very inexpensive, but very nice. And the bottom line is, so that was the plan. But initially, I had to get the most, because I had to make the big investment, because I had to buy all the equipment they're going to be using to do all this stuff. So I had bought the equipment, plus I was helping them work and everything else. So once we finished the thing up, right, Joe came in and gave me the check. I deposited the check. Next thing I know, the check bounced. And I went to check out, and I found out that it didn't bounce because there wasn't money in there. Because these clowns, they went to him, told him to cancel the check and write them a check because I wasn't giving them no money. So that's what he did. So he took all the money, got the equipment and everything else. These are Farrakhan's people. Ripped me off. Okay? Farrakhan's people. So that was the end of that. They got the money, so we never did bid to loss. Because if we if I showed up, they didn't follow through on that, I was trying to make a loss. They'd been millionaires, most millionaires, man, because that would have been a hell of a thing. If they knew how to, because all you do is follow through. That's Farrakhan's people. They ain't no goddamn good over there. Thieves and robbers. And one of them is a captain over there. Now he's probably a regional captain. I catch up with his ass. Oh, I'm catching up with him one day. Catch his ass one day. They ain't hurt me because I had plenty of money at that time, right? But the point is, there's thieves and robbers over there. They're just like Farrakhan. He's a robber. He robbed a nation. Let me leave you there, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. Hope you got something out of this. Okay, assalamu alaikum.